Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel Everything About Coding. Today in this video we are going to learn about machine learning. What exactly is machine learning and how it works. And we are going to develop a very small Python program for machine learning. So this will give you the foundation about machine learning and how it works. So without wasting any further time, let's begin. So let us understand what exactly is machine learning. So machine learning is basically where we give data to the computer and the computer learns from the data. So computers learning from data is what machine learning is all about. Okay, so there won't be like a specific programming done, a step-by-step programming, but rather we are going to have AI that figures out the patterns itself. So it's all about the data. It's all about the pattern of the data. So that is machine learning. Example is email spam filters, movie recommendations, voice assistants. These are the examples of machine learning. So how does a machine learning basically works? It works like first step is we will be providing the sample data, which is called as the training data. When I say sample data, these are like the real life data. So they are more specifically the training data. Okay, so we are going to first train the model. Once we train the model learns from the relationship, that is the pattern of the data. And then the model will make the predictions for us and will generate new data for us. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to understand the Python libraries, and the first is the scikit-learn. This is one of the most important library that we are going to use, and for machine learning it is a must. Okay, for creating machine learning models, this is the package that we are going to install. This is not pre-installed, so we are going to install this using the pip command. And then obviously when it comes to machine learning and scientific calculations, we are going to use the numpy for handling numerical data. Okay, so now all that has been said, let's start coding. So here we are inside PyCharm, and now the first thing that we need to do is go to the terminal and we need to install that scikit-learn. How to do that is giving the pip command, pip install and scikit-learn, and that's it, and press enter, and that will install the package. Since I've already installed, I'm not going to do that again, right? After you install that, then comes the coding part, and for that we need to first we need to first import the packages. So I'm going to say sk, from that sklearn dot that is linear model. Okay, dot linear model. I'm going to import the most important module, and that is linear, that is the linear regression. This is the one of the most important module, that is linear regression. It helps us to find the pattern, the relationship between the target and the features. Okay, so dependent and independent data, it will try to find a linear equation that is a straight line. So linear regression is one of the most important module. After we do that, obviously we need to import the numpy, and I will just rename that as np. Okay, so we have numpy and we have the linear regression, and we are now ready to go. Now what we are going to do in this particular program is we are going to give some we are going to take an example of students for how many hours they studied and how what was their score. Now in real scenario, this will be the real data that we will be using to train the model. But over here, we are just going to take this as a fake data. Okay. So first thing is I'm going to do is hours, and over here I will say np dot array, and inside that I will have a list, and this list will be basically a nested list. So I will have this inside list, then 2, and then 3. So these are basically number of hours the students have studied. Okay, and this has to be a nested list. Okay, otherwise it will give you an error. So this is the outermost list, and every the innermost list we have the features. Since we have taken the example of a student, that is how many hours they studied and what was the score. This will be only one data for every student. Okay, then we need the scores, and scores will be np dot array, and over here we just need a single list, and that list is going to have the scores something like this. I'm just taking this as a random data. So 45 is okay, it has to be 65 something, and then 80. Okay, what does this mean? That if a student is studying for 1 hour, his score will be 20. If a student is studying for 4 hours, then the score will be 65. And if 5 hours, then the score is going to be 80. Okay, that is what this means. Now, depending on this data, okay, this is the data. Now, we need to train our model. So let us start to train the model. And for that, we are going to create a model, which is the object. And I'm going to use that linear regression dot, and that will be, okay, that's it, a linear regression. So this is going to create a model. And then I'm going to use model dot fit, and inside this I'm going to give the hours and the scores. Okay, so this is the data that I'm giving to train the model. This is very, very important to understand. So this was the first step, that is training the model. So I've given the hours and the score using that fit method. So fit method is basically going to take this data and it is going to train. Okay, so we are training the model. Now that we are given the data, and basically fit method will also find the relationship between the hours and the scores. This is what is going to happen. The next step that we need to do is so simple. We need to take a input. Since we have trained the data, now we will take the input from the user, that is enter hours studied. Okay, now we are going to take input from the user. So this will be the new data. Okay, and now what we need to do is, that is prediction, that's the name of the variable, and then the model dot predict. Okay, model dot predict, and over here we are going to pass a nested list with that h, that is the user input. Okay, even this has to be a nested list. So this hour I have given to the model, and this is the new data. This is the data that is entered by the user. This data was the sample data, and now the user is going to give the data which is the new data, and we will see whether the AI is basically able to predict the output or not. So I'm simply going to print the prediction. Now let us run this. Now if we run this, and it will ask for the number of hours studied. If I give 3.7, and you can see it has given a list that is 61.15, that will be the score of the student. If I give something like maybe 5.5, and you can see the score will be 87.25. So it is depending on the data, it is giving the predictions to us, and this is the most important part of machine learning. And for that, you need to understand one thing, that is linear regression is the most important module that we are using over here. This basically tries to find the relationship between the target value and the features, the samples, and then it will try to find a straight line. Linear regression means linear equation, which is basically a straight line, and then it uses the linear regression formula. Now I'm not going to go in detail since this is at just the beginners level, so I've kept it very short and simple. This is one of the most simplest way to learn the machine learning, right? So I hope that you have enjoyed this video, and in the upcoming videos we are going to learn more about AI, more about Python. So stay tuned for that. And if you really want to appreciate my effort, I would appreciate if you just give me a like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much.